everyone, and welcome to my presentation. My name is Matthew Barbee, and I'm an assistant professor in the Department of Global and Regional Studies at Doshisha University. Today, I'll be talking about Microsoft Teams in the classroom, beyond emergency remote teaching, or ERT. Before I begin, I just would like to congratulate all of us for making it through the last 6 months. For some of us, including myself, it hasn't been easy. In the spring of 2020, the rapid spread of the coronavirus pandemic forced schools around the globe to adapt instruction while prioritizing the safety of students and staff. As a result, many schools migrated from face-to-face classes to emergency remote teaching situations. This changed both the student learning experience and the teacher workload in ways that were felt by many to be undesirable and unsustainable. Due to the speed of the transition, many teachers rushed to plan and improvise synchronous and/or asynchronous online lessons using software that was new to them. However, Microsoft Teams stood out as a learning management system that combined persistent chat, live video meetings, file storage, and popular applications such as Microsoft Office, Excel, and PowerPoint. And it was also available on many platforms such as computers, Macs, tablet computers, and smartphones. Overall, Microsoft Teams proved to be flexible, practical, and useful even beyond this period of ERT and into the classroom. Before I continue, I do want to say that not all universities and not all teachers will have Microsoft Teams available. So unfortunately, today's presentation is just addressing those universities and those teachers who are currently using Microsoft Teams. If you're not using it, it is possible that your university has it available. You should probably speak to your university's IT department or staff. Today's workshop aims to show teachers how to use Teams as an effective and efficient tool, not only for emergency remote teaching, but also for asynchronous online classes, face-to-face classes, and hybrid classes. I'll begin by talking about channels and tabs creation, class communication such as posts, announcements, prioritizing such announcements, and chat functions. I'll also talk about materials and file distribution, and assignments. Under assignments, I'll talk a little about integrating Microsoft Office, Word, and Excel, as well as adding audio and visual files or other documents, and setting deadlines and creating rubrics. Next, I'll talk about grading and gradebook management. Then I'll talk a little about quizzes. And I'll end by talking about live meetings or the online synchronous lessons that are available in Teams. And I'll finish with a discussion about breakout rooms in Teams. All right. With that said, let's go ahead and move on to the first topic of our agenda, creating and using Teams channels and tabs. However, before I do that, I just want to show you what it looks like when you open your application on your computer. You can see that I have 8 teams or classes already set up. Teams workshop presentation. This is one that I created just for today's presentation. You can see that I have 5 communicative English classes, an English workshop class, and an English practicum class. These are all classes that I teach now. However, if you're new to Teams, you will have to join or create Teams yourself. In the top right-hand corner of the screen, you can see the Join or Create Team button here. You can click this to set up your own classes. However, if you're like my university, Doshisha University, individual teachers don't have the authority to set up their own classes. We have to apply to our IT office, they set up our teams for us, and then we can have access to them. Now we're looking at the grid layout view. However, this view is not always the best or the most appropriate. If we want to change our layout view, you can click on the circle in the top right corner of the screen. You'll either see your initials or your picture. Go ahead and click on that, and it will bring up your settings beside the gear icon here. When you click on settings, you can see that there are two layout choices available. The grid view, which I already have, or the list view. I think the list view is very helpful because it allows you to see all of your classes on the left-hand column, while you can see your class content in the center of the screen. Let's go ahead and click on that now. And here you can see all of my classes on the left side of my screen and my class content in the center. All of my classes are the same as before. You can see my Teams workshop and presentation, my 5 communicative English classes, my English workshop, and my English practicum class. Now, let's talk about tabs and channels. When you first create a team, the default channel for every team will be your general channel. You can see the general channel here. Channels appear on the left side of the screen underneath each team. You can see how every class has a general channel. This is the default channel. However, if you would like to add more channels, they're very useful for organizing and categorizing class content. For example, I would like a separate channel for just class chat, or separate channels for individual or groups of students to communicate and talk. If you would like a new channel, you can do that here. Click on the 3 ellipses beside your channel name, and you can add channel here. Click on Add Channel. And let's say I would like a new channel only for class announcements. I'll give it a name. You can also describe it if you want to. And you can set the privacy, standard or private, for just individual or groups of students. I'll keep it for standard privacy so all of my students can see it, and I'll add it. And there I've added the announcement channel to my team. So channels are the main way we organize our teams. However, if we look along the top row of our screen, beside the class name, general, post, files, these are all tabs. Tabs are also useful because they are a quick way to access our class files, the class notebook, assignments, and grades. These tabs are all found under the General channel. I'll talk more about tabs later on in the presentation. For now, let's go ahead and move on to the next item in the agenda, class communication. For this, I would like to talk about posts, announcements, prioritizing announcements, and chat. Let's go ahead and begin with posts. Just before, I made the new channel called Announcement. You can see that this channel is currently blank. However, I would like to begin a new conversation. At the bottom of the screen, you can see the button labeled New Conversation. If I click on New Conversation, I can begin a new conversation with a class. For example, maybe I want to say, hello, everyone. This is a practice conversation. Okay. And then I can send it to the class here. New conversation also allows me to make announcements to the class. If you notice that this message, hello everyone, this is a practice conversation. It's not very visible or noticeable. However, if I click on the edit text icon or formatting icon, it also gives me the choice to add a subject There are still more options if I want this to be even more noticeable to my students. If I click the down arrow for new conversation, I can turn this into an announcement and set it for top priority. You can see that I now have a colored headline, and the word important is now in red on the message. For the headline, you can choose any color, or you also have access to different illustrations to make it even more noticeable for students. This is a great way to send messages to all of your students within a class. However, this is just posting to the announcements tab or the announcements channel on the left. Students will see it if they log into Teams and check this channel. However, if we want students to see this message directly in their inboxes, we can also @team. Type @team, and it's automatically sent to every student's inbox who's a member of this team. And I can send it. So every student in the class will see this conversation, this announcement, under the announcements channel. But because I attached the team to the announcement, every student will also receive the message in their inboxes. There are also more options. If I want to send this message to multiple classes, and not only the one class, I'm able to post it in multiple channels. If I click here, you can see the option to select channels. So this is just a generic welcome to class announcement. Perhaps I want to send it to all of my classes. Fall class announcements, communicative English, fall class announcements, communicative English, fall class announcements, and so on. I can check all the channels or teams that I want to see this announcement and update. You can see that I'm sending it to multiple channels and teams here. I don't want to do that now. This is just a practice announcement. So I'm going to go ahead and close this box. Now, if I wanted to chat with an individual student, you can see the chat icon on the left-hand side of the screen. Chat. Here you can see a list of all of the students that I've had recent conversations with or chats with. If I want to begin a new conversation, I click on the new conversation or new chat icon, and I can type the name of a student or a teacher. As I type, it'll give me some choices of students that I can choose from. I don't want to send a chat now, but I would choose the student, and in the bottom, I would type a new message to that student. I could also change the priority settings by make it standard, important, or urgent. And I could also change the formatting. If I wanted to bold the text, italicize the text, or underline the text. And that's the basics of class conversation. You can post to channels, make announcements, set the priority, standard priority, or urgent. And you could also chat with individual teams, individual groups, individual students, or other teachers. Next, I will move on to the next item in my agenda, materials and file distribution. If I go back to my teams and look at today's workshop and presentation, under the general channel, I can see my tab for files. Under the Files tab, there's a folder called Class Materials. This is a very important folder because any item that you place in this folder cannot be edited by students. When I open Class Materials, I've already added some files for the purposes of this presentation. I've created a folder for assignment materials, a folder for the class syllabus, a folder for example student videos, and a folder for Teams manuals. Now let's just open up some of these folders to see the files that are inside. If I open the folder Assignment Materials, I can see that I have my homework packet 8. This is a PDF file. My homework assignment number 4, it's an article. It's also a PDF. And I also have Matthew's introduction presentation, which is a video. This is an MP4 file. Microsoft Teams is great for any type of file that you can create on your computer. It's especially great for teachers who like to do on-demand assignments. For example, if you record lectures or record presentations, you can upload those videos or audio files so that your students can have access to them at any time. In this folder, I have different types of movie files, MOV file, MP4 file. You can also upload different types of audio files or any type of Office file, PDFs, Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint. And because Microsoft Teams is associated with other Microsoft applications such as SharePoint and OneDrive, you also have access to all of those cloud file sharing programs. That's why I think Microsoft Teams goes above and beyond. Not only do you have access to file storage in the cloud, but you can also distribute the files to students at any time. All of your classes and all of your students have access to any of the files that you want to distribute to them. Another great point of Microsoft Teams is that not only do you have access to all of your files, you can also open them directly within the application. You don't have to download them to see what's in the PDF file. If you click on the file, it automatically opens in your application. So I can view this PDF here. Students also have this ability, whether on their Macs, their PCs, their tablets, or their iPhones or smartphones. Students can open, access, and edit files anywhere and at any time. For the next item in our agenda, let's move on to creating assignments. If you look on the left column of your screen, where you see chat, teams, and assignments, you can click on assignments. However, I don't think this is the best way to access assignments. On this screen, we can see all the assignments that we've set or scheduled for all of our classes in one place. However, if you want to focus just on one class, click on Teams, go to the class that you want, and under the General channel, you can see the tab for assignments at the top of the screen. Click on the Assignments tab, and then you can see all of the assignments that are still due for students. In this example presentation, I've assigned students assignment 4, reading a news article, final assignment, life during the pandemic video. It's a video assignment. And a final project, the PSA video. Okay? And I can look at all of those here. In dealing with assignments, let's first look at creating assignments. On your screen, you can see the Create button here. So why don't we do that now and look at creating an assignment. When I click on the Create button, I have some choices. Create a new assignment, create a quiz, or create an assignment from an existing assignment that I've made before. Why don't we create a new assignment for now? When creating an assignment, go ahead and enter a title. Maybe we can call this comparison essay. We can add instructions to the students. Write a comparison essay. Use the blank Word file below and type your essay. Please submit it by the deadline. You also have the choice to add resources. I told the students in my instructions to use the blank Word file below and type their essay. So let's attach a blank Word file now so that students can type their essay. Add resources, and you have several choices. You can give them a link to an internet resource. You can give them a new file, which is what we're going to do now. You can also upload a file that you've already created on your computer. Now let's go ahead and just give them a new file. Because Microsoft Teams is part of the Microsoft family, some of the new files that we can create are Word documents, a PowerPoint file, an Excel spreadsheet, or a OneNote class notebook page. I want to assign students a blank Word document, so I'll choose that now. And I'll call this new document comparison essay. Perhaps I'll have more than one. Let's go comparison essay 1. All right, so I've now attached a blank Word document called comparison essay 1. If you see here, students can't edit this at the moment. Let's change that. When you click on the 3 ellipses, you have some options. I want to change it so that students can edit their own copy. This will distribute 1 copy per student, and every student will be able to type their own essay into the document. This is the same as handing out an individual worksheet to each individual student. I can also open up the document and edit it myself if I don't want it exactly blank. As a teacher, however you edit the document, all the students will see it as you edit it. So perhaps I'll give it a title. comparison essay. I'll give a space for their name, ID number, class, and a few instructions. Type your essay below. And I can edit this just like any other Word document. And now every student will be able to see this document just as I've typed it. I'll close that. And again, you can see that students may edit their own copy. I can add other forms of resources. For example, in the spring semester, because students had not purchased their textbooks at the beginning of the semester, I sometimes added unit chapters and maybe an audio file. So I could also attach the textbook chapter, an article that I found online, or even audio or video files for students. They can use them as resources to help them do the assignment. Also, when creating a new assignment, you have the option to give it points. Let's say I want this assignment to be worth 100 points. It's up to you. You also have the ability to add a rubric. Let's go ahead and do that now. You have the choice to assign a rubric that you've already created in your other classes or for other assignments, or you can add a new rubric. Let's look at a rubric that I've already created. Let's look at self-introduction writing. This is a rubric that I created to help me grade students' self-introduction essays. You can see that the rubric has a title, Self-Introduction Writing. I've given it a description. This essay should be between 150 to 200 words. And I've given the students some grading criteria. Length, how well does the essay fit the assignment? And I also want to give students feedback on their level of English. If I wanted to add more grading criteria, I could do that here. So this is a comparison essay. Content. Perhaps how well does your essay compare the two items? And you could also add item descriptors. For each criteria, I have 5 levels of descriptors. You can title them anything from excellent to poor, and then describe each criteria and what it takes to get a certain number of points. This is a very basic rubric here. Of course, you can set your descriptors to be anything and set your number of points to be anything. You can also weight the criteria. For example, if you think fitting the assignment should be worth more than the length of the assignment, you can adjust those percentages here. Why don't we look at adding a new rubric as well? So I want this rubric to be specifically for comparison essays. You can describe the rubric, and I'll just begin with content, cohesion, level of English, and organization. You can use any descriptors or any criteria that you want. Again, the default is excellent, good, fair, poor, but you can have as many levels as you want. And then you can describe each criteria, or you can leave them blank. If you would like to assign points, you click yes for points, and then you can assign the number of points as you wish. And that's the basics of adding rubrics to an assignment. I think rubrics, personally, are another great feature of Microsoft Teams. Of course, when we grade student writing or student homework assignments, we want to give rich feedback to students. However, it takes a lot of time to provide individualized written feedback for every student, for every assignment. Of course, we want to, and we do as teachers. But with a rubric function, with just a few clicks, it's that easy to give several layers of written feedback per student. If you then want to go back and give individualized comments or feedback, you can. Rubrics don't take away that option from teachers, but I do think that rubrics save us a lot of time and allow us to give rich feedback to students very easily. Let's continue in creating the assignment. You can then see that we want to assign the assignment to the class. Now I'm only assigning it to this team, Teams Workshop and Presentation. However, I told you that I had 5 communicative English classes. If I created one assignment, here I can assign it to all my classes at the same time. Communicative English, communicative English. So after just creating one assignment, I could distribute it to all of my classes at the same time, saving me a lot of time. Be sure to click that you want to assign it to all students added to this class in the future. If you weren't to do this, if you had a lingering student who didn't join the class at the beginning of the semester, he wouldn't be able to see the assignment. So be sure to click this so that all your students have access to it. I want it to be assigned to all students in these 6 classes, and I can set a deadline. If I don't want to distribute the assignment now, I can also schedule it to be assigned in the future. I can choose an assigned date, maybe from next week, and then I can have the deadline a week later. But of course, I don't want to assign this now. But that's it. That's the basics of creating a new assignment in Microsoft Teams. Thank you for sticking with me for so long. I know that this presentation is going to be a little longer than normal. However, let's move on to the next item on the agenda, grading assignments and gradebook management. First, why don't we look at one of the classes that I'm currently teaching? This semester, I'm teaching an English practicum class that's focused on English theater or English through theater in the classroom. Let's go to the General channel, the Assignments tab at the top of the page, and then we can see the assigned assignments and even a few that have been returned. Why don't we look at assignment number 2, Introduction to Prosody. If we want to look at the student view, we can do that by clicking on the 3 dots or the ellipses and look at the student view. This is what students see when they get the assignment. Assignment 2, Introduction to Prosody, watching and writing. I've instructed the students to watch the following YouTube video that I made and then answer the questions on the Word document. Your answers should be in full sentences. Please give reasons for your opinions when prompted. And then I also tell them in the highlighted section to open the Word document, type your answers, and then submit it. The resources that I've attached to this assignment are a link to a video file that I created and a prosody worksheet that I also created. Let's first look at the video. Students can view it directly in the Teams application. My name is Matthew Barbee, and today I want to talk about the prosodic features of speech, because it's not only important what we say, but also how we say it. First, what is prosody? We don't have to watch the full video, but I just wanted to show you that it is possible to upload not only videos, but also links to videos. I made this video and uploaded it to YouTube, and then I attached the YouTube link to the assignment. All right. The other resource that I've attached to this assignment is a Word document. So let's look at that now. It'll open within the application. You can see that it's called Intro to Prosody. I give students the instructions again, and then I have some questions for students to answer. Each student will get their own copy of this document. And I've also attached a rubric. In total, this assignment is worth 20 points. Why don't we look at one of the students' returned assignments now? If I click on the status returned, I can see the student's assignment. The assignment opens directly within the application. You can see that the student has answered my questions, and they've taken time to also write the final essay, number 12. Please give 3 reasons for your answer, and I've also asked the students to answer in 150 to 200 words. Looking at the students' writing, within Teams, I have the power to edit and even review their writing. Why don't I do that now? The student wrote, I have 3 reasons to support the opinion that prosody is important in communication. To begin, the meanings of sentences change depending on the prosodic features used. And I don't want to check or correct every mistake in the writing, but I can check a few. For example, when the end of a sentence, comma, okay, just a few things that I want to correct. I can also give this a score by using the rubric. I've already assigned it an excellent score. You can see that this is just a rubric of completion from didn't do the assignment to excellent. I found that the assignment was completed fully with thoughtful and correct answers. Reasons were given for the students' opinions, and answers were in full sentences. I felt that this student gave many clear details. So just with one click, I can give written feedback. And also I can give specific feedback just for this student. Great job. I really enjoyed reading your 3 reasons for the importance of prosody in communication. And then I can return it to the student and close. Great. Why don't we look at another class and another student? Let's look at my English workshop, general channel, top tabs, assignments, and let's look at their self-introduction videos. I want to show you a type of assignment where students had to submit a video for the assignment. All 25 students have returned the assignment, and I've given them scores. Why don't we look at this student's, I'll click on the status, it's returned.
Hello, my name is Kaho.
Before I look at the student's video, I just want to show you that I've already given the student feedback. I said, good job. I could understand every word easily. Her voice was clear. And then I gave her other comments. I commented on her intonation and her pronunciation. Why don't we look at the video now?
Ishibashi. Today I will talk about me. I'm from Osaka and my birthday is July 10th, so I'm really looking forward to my birthday because I wanted to drink with my family as soon as I'm 20 years old. And I'm work at part-time job at the Universal Studio Japan, but now the park is closed due to the coronavirus, so I can't work there. Recently, I stay home and I watch Terrace House on the Netflix, and I like to talk to people by face to face. So rather than staying at home every day, I want to go to the university and talk to people. So now I'll think about where to go to a trip when the coronavirus vanished. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Kaho.
Hello.
By the way, I just want to let everyone know that I specifically asked the permission of all of my classes and the few students that I am focusing on today. Kaho gave me direct permission to use her video, and she says hello to everyone. Thank you, Kaho. Moving on to the next item on the agenda, let's look at grades. In this same class, we can again see Kaho. We can look at all of her assignments along the top row and see all of her scores here. We can easily adjust scores as we need to. If we click on the ellipses beside the score of an individual assignment, we can open the student work directly from the gradebook, or we can return it if we forgot to return it earlier after we graded it. If we want to adjust the score by giving a few extra points, we can do that here. Let's look at Kaho's final PSA video project. In her class, she had to submit a final project. She had to create a PSA video, a public service announcement, for why students should social distance or wear a mask in Kyoto. Let's look at it now. This was her submitted homework. You can see that she answered all of the questions. And she also had to submit a video. We can open the video directly in Microsoft Teams. And let's watch.
Hello, I'm Kaho. I'm from Osaka and go to the Doshisha University. I will talk about effective ways for COVID-19. The coronavirus is happening around the world now, and Kyoto, which is not visited by tourists, is suffering from an economical point of view. The tourism industry has stopped. First, let's talk about social distance. What is social distance? Social distancing means keeping a safe space between yourself and other people. This photo shows the promotion of social distancing at the USJ. We create a social distance by keeping a distance between the character and the guest. So it is important to stay at least 6 feet away from others, and social distance is an effective way to prevent COVID-19. Next, I'll talk about wearing masks. Wearing masks reduces some conflicts, such as, oh my god, that person don't wear that mask, it's uncomfortable. If people don't wear a mask and don't take a social distance, coronaviruses will quickly spread. Recently, there are many kinds of masks, and many of them have a cute appearance. I want tourists visiting Kyoto to wear Japanese-style masks. The Japanese masks give them a sense of Japanese culture and help prevent coronavirus infection. Thank you for listening.
All right, again, thank you, Kaho. You can see that I've given feedback, individualized just for Kaho, and also I have checked her rubric. There are several categories: English fluency, content, overall video quality, delivery voice, and time and completion. With just a few clicks, I was able to give rich feedback for Kaho on how to improve or on how well she did the assignment. All right. Now to finish the gradebook section of this presentation, I also want to show you how to export our gradebooks to Excel. While Microsoft Teams is a wonderful application for managing student assignment and grading the students' scores, it doesn't always fit the style of gradebooks that we use. I have to assign a letter grade at Doshisha, but in order to arrive at that final grade, I need to manipulate my scores or to weight my assignments in certain ways. So in order to be able to manipulate the scores, we want to export our gradebooks to Excel. I'm not going to do that now, but as you can see, in the top right of your screen, there's a button for exporting the gradebook to Excel. By clicking on this, we're able to open up Excel and we have a spreadsheet with all of our grades. We can easily manipulate them, weight them, and do what we need to do to arrive at the final scores. And with that, thank you for listening to me talk about grades. I'll go ahead and move on to my next agenda item: scheduling and conducting synchronous lessons through Teams. There are several ways to schedule synchronous lessons through Teams. First, if we look at the calendar view option on the left side of your screen, you can see the calendar icon. By opening the calendar, we're able to click on the Meet Now button or the New Meeting button. You can see on the top right-hand side of your screen, Meet Now or New Meeting. By clicking on Meet Now, and I'm able to start a meeting immediately. This works just like Zoom or other live video applications. I can join now with my camera or with my microphone. I can also schedule a new meeting for the future. If I go back and click on New Meeting, I'm able to schedule a new meeting with any class in the future. I can title the meeting. I can set a time. If it's a recurring class each week, I can also have it to recur. I can add channels if I just want to meet with one class or multiple classes at the same time. And I can type the agenda or the class objectives for that live meeting. And then I can save it. If I invite a certain class, all the students within that class will receive an invitation to join that meeting. Another way to schedule live classes within Teams is to go directly to the team that you want to schedule the meeting. So if I was to schedule a meeting now for this presentation, I would go to the Teams Workshop and Presentation and the General tab. And again, you can see the Meet button at the top of your screen. By clicking that button, we can meet immediately with this class that I'm looking at. I don't want to do it now. However, it's that simple. Just with a click of a button, we can begin a meeting. If I wanted to do the same with a student, for example, if I wanted to meet with one teacher one-on-one or one student one-on-one, you can see this student here. We've been talking one-on-one, and looking at the top icons. I have several choices with this student individually. I can begin a live video meeting. I can begin an audio phone call, just voices, or I can share my screen. I don't even have to start a live meeting to do it. I can immediately share my screen with the student. This is very helpful in reverse. For example, when students have problems with their teams, if something's happening on their side or on their computer and I don't understand what they're talking about, the student can share their screen with me so I can see what they're talking about and help them solve their problem a little more easily. Now, before I move on, I would like to talk about two new features in Microsoft Teams. Large gallery mode. This allows you to see up to 49 students at one time on your screen. Before, we could only see 9, but very recently, they've increased the number of screens in your Microsoft Teams. This can be changed in the settings while having a live meeting. Just change to large gallery mode to see 49 students. Also, if you would like to change to Together mode allows a more casual and comfortable feeling. It places the students in a stadium or auditorium-like atmosphere where they can see each other and possibly have a little more fun with your live classes. And finally, I would like to talk a little bit about breakout rooms. I know that many of you enjoy using and have used Zoom. And one of the best features of Zoom is that they have the ability to create breakout rooms, creating immediate small groups of students so that they can meet in a small group. As of right now, Teams does not have that function. However, it is in a beta trial run phase. So very soon, hopefully within the next few weeks, possibly before you're able to watch this presentation, Teams will have the ability to have Zoom-like breakout rooms. Until that time, there is a workaround for creating breakout rooms for students by creating small group channels. You can see on the left side of your screen, under this presentation team, I've created 4 small groups. These are just channels. I added and created new channels. I titled them Small Group A, Small Group B, C, and D. By creating these small group channels, I can instruct any students to join those groups. If I click on Small Group A, for example, it automatically takes me to this page. Now, I've already set up this page and I've added some student instructions. For example, if 5 students join this small group, I've instructed them to click Meet in the top right corner to start a live group meeting. So again, students have the ability to join the group. If there's only 5 or maybe 10 students, they can join this channel by themselves and begin a group meeting by themselves. Teams breakout rooms are very useful for student groups who exist over the entire semester. For example, if you create small groups for a project or an assignment and students have to stay in the same group each week, that's where I think Microsoft Teams is better. Not only does this allow students to create a live meeting, but through the new conversation functions, they're able to chat, they're able to share files. At the top of the screen, you can see the tab for files and for notes. So within this small group of students, they can not only have a live video, but they can also work and edit the same Microsoft Word file. They can share the same notes. They can have chat communication. They can share photos and have much richer communication over an entire semester. But hopefully, very soon, Microsoft Teams is going to add the Zoom-like breakout rooms so that we can also have immediate breakout rooms, randomized breakout rooms quickly and easily. And that's all for my presentation today. I wish this was a live presentation so that I could take some questions now. Microsoft Teams helped me with my emergency remote teaching. But because of how easy it is, because of the ability to create and schedule assignments, to create files and distribute them to students, because of the ease of collecting and managing homework, using rubrics and scoring homework, I will continue to use Microsoft Teams. Thank you for watching this presentation. My name is Matthew Barbee, and I wish everyone good luck in their classes. Thank you.